So as you see right here, what I'm doing is placing 2 ranged units in the summoning area, and I went immediately over to check what the opponent was doing, and I say he is starting with 2 ranged units as well. It's important to check that out so you know exactly how you should distribute your summons. There I summoned 2 Void Banes to back up the ranged units, as well as another ranged unit to give me a little more oomph. He as well summoned some melee units. Those melee units are very fast, capable of doing a lot. I went ahead and backed up my units since those are a double. His units actually attack 2 things at once. Now, Void Banes, their advantage is that when they strike, they do an AoE attack in a cone in front of them, so that's why I was able to shred through his units. Now, if you notice, my mana at this point is pushing 260, so I know I have some room to play. I want to take his next turret as well, so I go ahead and I just freeze it. That stops the attacks, and also causes damage to the units surrounding that are nearby. Now, I did attempt to freeze it again. That didn't work out too well. Something important to note is when you start an attack on a turret, your units will not deviate from that attack until that item is destroyed. So if they're attacking a tower, other units can come in and start clobbering them. They only focus the tower. Then if you notice, I also put down my own building unit here, acting as a siege defense. It is tanking and doing some splash AoE damage. It gets taken, I wouldn't say pretty easy, but it gets outranged by both archers and those green thistles that you see right there. So I probably shouldn't have froze that there. There was no need. It was out of shots. Additionally, it's also I've got no hit points left. I'm pressing the attack a little further there. I'm thinking to freeze it again. Then I notice it's dead. Now, because I pushed 300 mana, I went ahead and cast again, because your mana, or the blue item in the upper left-hand corner, will tell the game how much essence you get, which is the green one directly beneath it, which allows you to have spawners, which ultimately spawners is what win you the game. Now, it is important to also note that even though spawners do ultimately win you the game, the placement, since you and your opponent are getting the exact same amount of energy, is super important to when you're putting your units into the field, especially when attacking the Nexus. In this case, the unit you saw fighting just there, that is a rooting unit by green, so it roots and does damage over time as it roots, and it tanks also for the thistles. If I were to make that guy's same deck, I would have simply suggested that maybe instead of using that particular spawn to protect his thistles, using a tankier in-your-face spawn to do the same kind of damage. Continue to press the attack. Now, if you notice, I'm throwing out those small melee guys, which I said to him weren't that great, and they're really not. I'm using them to soak the Nexus aggro. So the Nexus has a limited amount of shots that do refresh over time, but if you can zerg in enough units, you can just totally exhaust that supply and then move in for the kill. Now, this is stone level play, stone level cards, but as you play the game, you'll see that whether you're stone, bronze, silver, or gold, all of the play changes. It's only the strategy that changes. See, I have a wall right there, but the thistles are outranging it. They are tanking pretty well. Now, those 2 skeletons I put up front were not meant to do anything other than just soak a little bit of damage there. I put down the frost worm to freeze some of these guys that are attacking me. Now, this is a pretty darn decent push. Now, what you're not seeing on the video is that I'm waiting to use my mana to push in with my spawns from and back. That's how you get big waves. That's how you can push back. Now, just there, I positioned directly behind his units with the Void Bane to shred through those very, very tasty thistles. And there we go. We see him rocking through there again. Just kind of surrounding him. Blue is actually the deck. The blue deck is coming out here not too long. This is all early access stuff that you can find on Steam. Oh, now this, I love that. Tons of damage. One spell took out 3 thistles, which is 2 summons. Summon and a half worth of excuse me, 7.5 of damage. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on my context more. Probably start writing myself some dialogue in advance. Now, as you can see here, the game is coming to a close, and it's not just because I've controlled the turret for so long. His Nexus is out of mana, he just exhausted on his last push trying to get out. So at this point, it would have been possible for him to win if he hadn't used that last 250 essence to try to stop the push. You've got to let your Nexus turrets and the turrets tank for you to kill the push. Attempting to do otherwise is just folly. And that's it. That's game. Thank you for joining me for this review.